Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
Europe cannot abandon a less democratic Turkey. Here's why.
Turkey is in chaos. Tens of thousands have flooded the streets, protesting the dramatic arrest of President Erdogan's main political rival, Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu, a man widely seen as a serious threat to Erdogan's grip on power. Now behind bars, İmamoğlu calls the charges politically motivated. And his supporters agree, warning that Turkey is sliding deeper into authoritarianism. The government insists the judiciary is acting independently, but many aren't buying it. On Sunday night, riot police clashed with demonstrators, firing tear gas and rubber bullets in the most explosive unrest the country has seen in over a decade.
Damn,
So
that's
what's
crazy.
going on? What will happen next? And how could this reshape Turkey's future, not just at home, but within Europe? Let's break it all down in this video. President Erdogan has ruled Turkey virtually unopposed for 23 years. He leads the AKP, the Justice Development Party, a conservative Islamist-rooted party that rose to power promising economic growth and political stability. But Erdogan has faced growing criticism over the years, accused of silencing dissent, undermining judicial independence, and tightening his grip on the media. Then, in March 2019, he suffered a major political blow. For the first time in decades,
But he's been in power for a long ass fucking time, though.
uncontested. Like,
That's a long ass time. That is good. Like,
this is like Vladimir.
this is giving Vladimir, yeah, basically, because, like, generally speaking, like it's 2 terms, 4 or 5 years each. 8 to 10 years is a limit. If you want to be generous, 15 years. That three terms. That's it. Not no 20+ years. That's crazy.
his party lost control of Istanbul, Turkey's largest and most influential city. The man who defeated him, Ekrem İmamoglu, a rising star from the CHP, the Republican People's Party, a secular center-left party, and the main opposition force in the country. As the two dominant forces in Turkish politics, it's no surprise that Erdogan's AKP and İmamoglu's CHP are bitter rivals. In 2022, İmamoglu was sentenced to over 2 years in prison and slapped with a political ban for allegedly insulting election officials. He's been appealing the verdict, which has allowed him to stay in office. By early 2023,
Okay, so we didn't know this, and when we reacted to earlier about this Turkish incident protest, we didn't know that he already been sentenced to prison. I thought he was put in prison because
Already, yeah.
Because just he's doing well in polls, so fuck it, let's put him in. He was sentenced for arguably laughable reason, but he was already sentenced, so there is kind of legitimate reason, at least for to save face, why you putting him in prison though.
Hypothetical polls showed İmamoglu as one of the few opposition figures who could beat Erdogan for president in a direct matchup. But before he could even be considered as a presidential candidate, legal pressure and the threat of disqualification led the CHP to choose another candidate, who ultimately lost. Many accused Erdogan and his allies of using the courts to sideline their most popular opponent without needing to face him at the ballot box. And that brings us to 2025, where things took a dramatic turn. On March 23rd, the CHP was set to elect its presidential candidate, and this time, İmamoglu was widely expected to win the nomination. But just 1 week before that vote, controversy erupted. On March the 18th, Istanbul University abruptly revoked İmamoglu's degree, alleging it had been fraudulently obtained. Under the Turkish constitution, a university degree is a prerequisite to run for president, making this a direct hit to his candidacy. Then on March the 19th,
So how was it illegally obtained? That's what I want to know.
I'm honestly, it looks like the president or the dictator, whoever, whatever his status is, pulling the strings behind the scenes. That's what it looks like. Like the guy had the degree forever. All of a sudden, oh yeah, let's revoke it. That's some KGB shit right there.
Just 1 day after tensions peaked, things escalated even further. İmamoglu was detained by Turkish authorities, accused of corruption and alleged links to terrorism. As part of the investigation, police arrested over 100 people, including politicians, journalists, and prominent businessmen. Then, by Sunday, the courts formally arrested İmamoglu, ordering him to be jailed, pending trial on corruption charges. Prosecutors allege he was running a criminal organization, accepting bribes, engaging in extortion, illegally recording personal data, and rigging public bids. İmamoglu has denied all charges, calling them part of a politically motivated campaign.
Yığılmıştır. Yüzlerce polis yığılmıştır. Büyük bir zorbalıkla karşı karşıyayız ama yılmayacağımı bilmenizi istiyorum. Hepinizi çok seviyorum. Ben kendimi milletime emanet ediyorum.
Even though a 7-day ban on public demonstrations was imposed, tens of thousands still flooded the streets, defying police, tear gas, and water cannons to protest Imamoglu's arrest. Next to the unrest, the CHP vote also went ahead, and Imamoglu won the party's presidential nomination in style. According to the CHP, nearly 15 million people cast a ballot on Sunday. Around 1.6 million of those votes came from registered party members. The rest were submitted by non-members at separate ballot boxes. People who simply wanted to show solidarity with Imamoglu.
So why are they not registered?
I have no idea.
A lot of people.
Maybe young people, they didn't yet get a chance to register, or they were like apolitical until it's time to be political.
As things stand, the CHP will line up Imamoglu against Erdogan in the 2028 election. So where does...
But how can they if he doesn't have a degree anymore? What, he has to get a new degree by the in the next 3 years or so, or because that degree is important. He won't be able to, or even if he wins, whatever, Erdogan, he's gonna say, oh no, he can't, because he doesn't have a degree. So.
And what school will give it to him?
Where does that leave us today? According to the Turkish constitution, presidential candidates must be over 40, hold a university degree, and not have a criminal conviction. Imamoglu still checks...
even the criminal conviction, but I guess he hasn't been convicted yet. He's just been charged, so,
all those boxes, for now. As for the diploma controversy, Turkey's Higher Education Council found that Imamoglu's transfer from Gurn American University in Northern Cyprus to Istanbul University in 1990 did not follow proper procedure. In response, Istanbul University cancelled the diplomas of 28 students, including Imamoglu's, citing absences and administrative error.
But they're quite clever. They also included other people to say, oh, it wasn't targeted for him.
Well, probably there was an error in there. It's just nobody cared. It's not a big deal.
Legal team disputes this and is appealing the decision, potentially all the way to Turkey's Constitutional Court and the European Court of Human Rights. As for the criminal charges, his arrest alone doesn't disqualify him. Unless he's convicted and handed a political ban, he remains eligible to run, and you can bet that his legal team will fight every step of the way. And as for being over 40, well, that's one qualification he can definitely prove. Unless, of course, there's a sudden birth certificate scandal. But if he's disqualified...
They say his birthday is on a leap year.
Yeah, or something like that, yeah.
Plan B. And the most likely next contender to challenge Erdogan, Mansur Yavaş, the mayor of Ankara. He's the second most popular opposition figure after Imamoglu, known for his calm, no-nonsense approach and strong backing in central Turkey. But Imamoglu's arrest may boost his popularity further. After all, Erdogan himself was jailed as mayor of Istanbul in 1999 and emerged a national hero. History could be repeating itself. Now, before we jump to what this all means for Europe, a quick shout out to the people who made this video happen. Our amazing Patreon get to vote on. So if you'd like to have a on Patreon, your support really is a familiar story. Erdogan tightens his grip, removes his rivals, and the world watches with muted concern. For example, after a failed coup in 2016, over 150,000 public servants were sacked.
I wonder if this make UN look at Turkey side-eye.
UN?
The United Nations.
UN, NATO, all of them need Turkey. Turkey has second biggest military in Europe after Russia, I believe.
I would have thought one of the requirements would be like a democratic society.
Yeah, they need Turkey's military power. They don't, they're hypocrites in that sense. They don't care. When they need something, they need something.
And more than 50,000 people were detained. Journalists, lawyers, soldiers, academics, and even Kurdish politicians. Then there's the press freedom. In 2024, Turkey ranked 158 out of 180 countries. Over 85% of national media is under government control, and 77 journalists have been convicted of insulting the president. And democracy? Well, on the Economist 2024 Democracy Index, Turkey scores 4.24 out of 10. Barely above the threshold of 4 for autocracy. In the past, Europe would have protested loudly, but now, silence. Why, you ask? Because now, more than ever, Europe needs Turkey. From its refugee deal with Ankara to hopes for expanded security cooperation, Turkey has become a key player the EU cannot afford to alienate. Add to that a White House with little appetite for challenging authoritarian allies, and you start to see the bigger picture. Within NATO, Turkey commands the second largest military after the US. Its 350,000 strong battle-tested army is a major asset. And its control over the Bosphorus Strait, which it closed to Russian warships after the Ukraine invasion, gives Ankara serious strategic leverage. Leverage that Europe, whether it admits it or not, may one day direly need. Also, in a future peace scenario, Turkey
I think there was one country in the Baltics that had Turkey as one of the
there was, I think Latvia was,
play a key role in EU-led peacekeeping efforts in Ukraine, a role it has already signaled it is willing to take on. And then there's defense tech. The Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drone, used effectively in both Ukraine and Azerbaijan, is now widely purchased across Europe, which is part of a broader shift towards cost-effective, combat-proven hardware coming out of Turkey's fast-growing arms industry.
Wow. Way cheaper than American-made. Look at that.
I mean, what does that mean though? Like, why is it cheaper?
No, lower cost of goods for them to make it. Or they're making less profit. They're more about volume, I don't know.
Industry. Turkey now tops the list of countries the European Commission hopes to collaborate with more closely on defense. Just this very month, the EU opened the door for non-EU member states, including Turkey, the UK, and Norway, to join the new EU Common Procurement Policy. Basically, Europe wants to diversify away from the US, which is very understandable, and Turkey is a major player in that future. Here's what I think. Europe is in the middle of a geopolitical crisis, and we need Turkey. From a European perspective, it is in our interest to keep Turkey closer to the EU, so that it doesn't drift towards adversaries like Russia or even China. That's why we have to keep working with Turkey, even though it's clear that Erdogan is steering the country towards a more authoritarian path. Does that mean EU?
That's a little fucked up. Kind of hypocritical, you know? We stand for democracy, blah blah. But we need something out of them. Fuck it. Let's work with authoritarian.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering how does that dynamic plays out, and also Turkey's representative in the UN, how do they manage, and also in NATO too as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little but on the other hand, imagine Turkey does turn to Russia. Europe is like fucked.
Yeah.
We have like two biggest armies in Europe, against EU. It's
they don't have a choice, really.
EU membership? No, we don't think so. That's off the table for now. Because frankly, our values just don't align. But we still need to give the Turkish people a long-term vision, a perspective. Right now, the EU is structured as a binary. You're either fully in or you're fully out. What if we change that? Imagine a multi-tiered EU system.
Yeah.
Tier 1, a European economic and defense community.
Was it this
We
channel
keep hearing,
or the other channel?
I don't know, remember, but they
which channel,
introduced this idea, and I said but that would make some countries feel like one is on top of the other.
Countries that cooperate on free trade, tariffs, and military cooperation without full political integration.
Honestly, if you
Then
want
there's
to
tier 2,
create this kind of tier system, you have to call it something else. It's no longer UN. Create another organization. It's simpler to do within the same organization, but it's not fair in the sense that was not agreed upon terms when they first initiated this type of group.
I guess you could introduce this if and only if all the old EU countries get grandfathered into the main.
Oh, it would have to be. They would have to be main tier.
Because the Hungary is the one that's causing a lot of issues. You cannot made grandfather like all the countries minus Hungary. Put Hungary into the other tier with Turkey or whatever.
Yeah, but everyone's gonna see how they treat Hungary, because whatever they do Hungary, they can do to the other countries too.
You can't do that.
Current EU.
If you don't want Hungary in there, some have to kick them out somehow. But you can't just put them
or
into
ask
lower
Hungary,
tier.
do you want to leave? They're
Yeah.
gonna tell you no.
Yeah.
Full political
It's
and
better for
economic
them to
union
stay.
with shared regulations and governance. And then we could have a tier 3, a deeper federal model, where member states align foreign policies into one, and unanimity is replaced with majority decision-making. Now, the countries I've chosen for this tier are just examples, so please don't flame me in the comments. And countries could move between these tiers based on their values, goals, and readiness. Right now, tier 1 would be the ideal place for Turkey. And over time, with political change in Ankara, tier 2 could become a real possibility. But we've got a
But
whole
what would be
video
the
coming soon.
interest for Turkey to only be in tier 1 and not have like full sway, like full power?
Well, economic interest, I guess. I don't know how it is right now if you have to pay like custom fees, income tariffs, or not income,
Mm.
import tariffs. Maybe if there is such thing right now, that would get waived. So that's
Mm.
something a little to gain. So I think there'll be a little interest for Turkey in that.
Mm.
exploring this multi-tiered European Union in
I thought
depth.
he was
So
gonna do all the
Mm.
countries. I would have loved to see where everyone would land.
Why he said in depth next
Oh,
time. So yeah.
can I see the comments, please?
Mm,
I want to hear what someone from Turkey has to say. What did they think about that?
what do you mean that EU needs Turkey to refugee agreements? Turkey is literally being paid by EU for this arrangement, and what Turkey does is to weaponize refugees, just like what they did in 2020. With the same reasoning, let's accept a less democratic Russia in EU because Russia's strategic location in gas. Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to inform you that we are witnessing Eastern European Spring. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. No, it's just the classic Balkans drama. We will win, Turkey, Turkey. It is frightening to see how democracy is being threatened in so many countries, but also encouraging to see mass protests are happening across Eastern Europe.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Because it seems like the people have a opposite say in this if they're doing protests to what the leader is doing.
Before relying on Turkey to Europe for European defense, tell Turkey to withdraw their 40,000 troops from EU land, which has been illegally occupied for 50 years.
Illegally? I wonder where they're talking about.
Guess.
Oh, I don't want to touch that.
Guess.
Only peace with Greece and Turkey. That's interesting. Wow. Well, guys, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.